If you own a gym and your business is based on trust, reputation, and client referrals, then you should be creating a strategy for your content plan and not just chasing the next big trends. I just put this workout glove on because I found it in my home gym. I haven't worked out in a while. Let's roll the intro. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would personally build a YouTube channel and a content strategy for a small gym owner here in my area completely from scratch. I'm talking long form videos, short form videos, your core pillars, all of it. The goal of a gym's YouTube channel is not to go viral. It's never to go viral. That should never be at the forefront of your mind. The thing that should be coming to mind in terms of what your goals are should be to become the go-to authority in your specific space. You should want to become the top of mind brand that people trust before they ever step foot through your doors. And the principal idea is if you show up on YouTube consistently, you will start to build authority at scale. Now, if you don't live under a rock and you've been on YouTube, even in the past 24 or 48 hours, and you are relatively interested in the fitness niche, then you will notice that a lot of gym owners are waking up to this idea that, YouTube is the place where content should live. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm setting the foundation so that way when we get into the rest of the content in this video, you guys have a stable place to move from. So stick around to the end because I'll be talking about, the different kinds of videos that I would actually look to be filming for gyms. And I'm also not just going to be talking about the long form side of things, but I'm also going to be talking about the short form side of the gym business, the gym YouTube channel, and how I'd approach that so that way it also works for you in your favor. As much as I want to convince you guys if you own a gym that you should be on YouTube, I can't force you to make that decision. But even just a couple facts to keep in mind are that YouTube, it's a search engine. And the more you post on them, the more you show up in SEO. Even just posting a little bit on YouTube, a little bit of high quality content can help you a ton, but that's not BU Medico's approach to any of this. So the number one thing I want to nail down with gym owners is going to be the core pillars that we're going to create content underneath. Now, the gym and the fitness space is heavily education based, and so that's going to be the number one and probably the biggest core pillar that we're going to create content underneath. But some other things to build personality and more brand awareness are going to be things that actually make you differentiate yourself from other gym owners, and that's going to be attacking things with your own opinions. So opinion-based content is going to be our second core pillar. The third core pillar is not going to be making up a majority of the content, but it is such a crucial part to have proof that you can do what you say you're going to do, and that's going to be third-party validation. This is going to be client testimonials, client transformation stories. Showing your real results with real people is going to equal real trust in the long term. And fourth, this would probably be optional, but I would most definitely use this sparingly, is going to be behind the scenes content. Now, when I would be using behind the scenes content for my gym owner client would be more in the later stages of building their YouTube channel, because with behind the scenes content, there's not much search value that comes from that. And so that would be used more so as an anchor to continue to build community. Because once you get somebody in the door through education content or client testimonial content, then you're able to use behind the scenes content and more personal content to build the relationship with those new audience members. So a big thing with YouTube, and everyone knows, is that early on in your YouTube journey, YouTube doesn't know who you are, it doesn't know what your channel is about, and it doesn't know what you're trying to say. And so our first 3 videos need to establish who we are, what we're all about, and why audience members should trust us. Now, the likelihood of your channel blowing up from these 3 videos, I'm going to be super transparent, isn't likely. And when I say blowing up, I mean hundreds of thousands of millions of views. The purpose of the first 3 videos is to strictly establish who we are, what we do, and who you should be sending our videos out to. So my first video that I'm going to shoot for them is going to be some form of a channel intro, and all that's going to establish is who we are, what we stand for, and again, essentially who this channel is for. It's just intended to get that initial pulse for YouTube. The second video is going to be our filter video. Essentially, it's going to be some sort of, not necessarily polarizing opinion, but an opinion-based video. So that could be on a fitness myth, that could be on some form of bro science, but it's gonna be a video that has our opinion, not the opinion of the internet, but our opinion, so that way those who share our opinion will be more likely to gravitate towards us. If I had to pick a third one, it would probably be a diet-based video. Because as far as I'm aware, in the fitness world, your diet is like 75% or 80% of the battle when it comes to getting in shape. So that is a high value piece of content that also helps establish your knowledge in that area. Once we shoot and film those videos, we're also going to plan out the next 10 to 12 videos so that way we're not just scrambling every single month. So with a gym owner, I would include a mix of different styles of content. So that could be FAQ style videos, deeper educational breakdowns, and I would definitely be hammering on myth and opinion type of content. During our strategy calls, I would sit down and I would plan out a quarterly calendar so that way we're not just, again, flying by the seat of our pants every time we're trying to come up with ideas. And the smartest approach would be to batch shoot all of these videos. Because I know from past experience on YouTube, trying to film a video a week so that way you can post a video a week is so stressful. So I would set aside an hour or two a month and just batch shoot all their content so that way we can get ahead of the content calendar. But the thing is that YouTube isn't the only aspect that you should be focusing on. Because with YouTube, the way it breaks down is that long-form content is what helps build trust and authority. But with YouTube, they've also integrated shorts onto their platform. And with shorts, what I've learned in my own personal experience is that they're so good for discoverability. Because YouTube doesn't just send those out to your target niche, they send it out to virtually everyone. And so it's a much easier way to get in front of more eyeballs and bring people into your ecosystem who maybe weren't initially super interested in it. Now, with shorts, the mistake that so many people make is that they'll take their long form content and they will cut that up into shorter segments that they can post, which is fine and that's great, but YouTube Shorts and YouTube Longs are two completely different games. With YouTube Shorts, there's a very specific structure that I have found that works really, really well. So there's 4 core components to YouTube Shorts that we're going to be focusing on as we build these out for our gym owners. The first one is going to be the hook. Now, with YouTube Shorts, if you do not get the person's attention in the first 5 seconds, you've lost them. Because YouTube Shorts is a very passive aspect of the platform. Once you got them hooked, you have to delay gratification. I call this tension. You have to let them know that there's going to be a payoff if they stay on the YouTube short all the way through. The third is going to be the payoff. This is going to be about 3/4 of the way through the video. If you don't close that loop, they're not going to trust you. At the very end of the short, we're going to structure it with a loop or a call to action. Just like a comedian, when they start their joke, they start with a point, they run through a story, but then they bring that last point back to the beginning, and that's what makes it funny. That's the punchline. Same thing with YouTube Shorts. We're going to hook them, we're going to add some tension, we're going to pay off, and then we're going to loop it back to the beginning. Because on YouTube, with YouTube Shorts specifically, they reward how many times people watch the video. If people watch your short more than once, it's going to send that off to way more people. But I think the biggest concern for small business owners, if we're talking gyms specifically, is gonna be the return on investment. What am I gonna get out of posting on YouTube? I am a huge believer in just setting very realistic expectations up front. You've probably already heard that in this video, but your first 3 videos probably aren't gonna get very many views. YouTube very much is a long play game. The more content you post, the bigger you build your library. The bigger you build your library, when somebody sees your channel, they're gonna say, oh, this person is consistent. They know what they're talking about, and they've put out a ton of value. YouTube's kind of like the sauna to your sales funnel. People step in, they watch your content, they get warmed up, and by the time they click your link to schedule a call and just get to know you and learn more about what you have to offer, they're already ready to buy. We're not here, and my goal is not to make you go viral. My goal is not to turn you into a YouTuber. My goal is to take YouTube, use it as a tool to turn potential clients into brand evangelists. So yeah, if I was working with a business owner, this is my exact mindset, my exact strategy on how I would approach building a YouTube channel and building their content strategy for their business. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it works. If you're a gym owner or even just a business owner building around trust on your business and you have any questions, feel free to check us out on Instagram. You can check us out at WeAreBU Media. You can reach out. I answer every single DM. If you guys want to ask a question about your business, feel free to. I'd be so happy to connect.